its light on me. This is the life of the game, and they will scream. They will scream my name. This is the life of the game, and fate will be my destiny.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another day of SEA Dota. It's time for a new beginning versus Execration. It's an elimination series here in the Galaxy Battles SEA qualifiers for Group A. We have two of these matches today, actually. One here in Group A as mentioned, and afterwards today, our second series, we'll be hopping over to Group B. Happy Feet vs WG.UNITY, an elimination series in their own rights. The winners will move up against GeekFam and Fire Dragon respectively, and then they're only one win away from qualifying to the main stage, with Fnatic and Mineski already waiting. So, for all these teams, it basically means that they're 4 wins away from making it to the first major of 2018. My name is DragonJob, happy to bring you these games, and also happy to continue casting SEA Dota, because it's always great fun, and it has been for the past couple of days here already. New beginning. Rubik and Tusk, they just lost hard to GeekFam the other day, and more importantly to the Medusa strats and the Tinies and whatnot, whatever they pulled out. Hasn't really affected this draft so far. Execration hasn't really didn't really run the Medusa as heavily. They have some other things up their sleeve though, including the Tiny. The Puck also comes to mind, but. And of course it is already picked up for them together with the Winter Wyverns. So very solid opener. Puck, very strong hero with plenty of flexibility. You can put him mid, you can put him in the offlane. So it doesn't really tell you exactly how the lane setup will be. And you have the Winter Wyvern, right? Very solid safe lane support and can help zone out people with Arctic Burn. It's a long cooldown, but still, in most circumstances that is going to be enough. And then you have the Cold Embrace as a saving potential, Splinter Blast for wave push, and that big reset button if nothing else with that ultimate. And that's something that you have to keep in mind for new beginning if you want to draft around that, right? You have the Tusk, and if you then pick up another couple of melee cores that are forced to bunch up eventually, then, well, might be caught out by something like that. And that's something that NJ will have to keep in mind when drafting for them. Alright, Rubik Tusk though, very aggressive opener actually. Like Rubik can obviously fit into many different roles. Pretty much always gonna have some good spells to steal. Really no way of drafting around that without limiting yourself heavily. So that won't be too much of an issue, and you also have that instant initiation to work with the telekinesis. And then the Tusk, well, he's gonna look to try and roam around, land some snowballs, nice shots. Then all you need is another couple of heroes that can actually take advantage of that. Dazzle would come to mind as well if they needed another support. But with Rubik already, well, it's just gonna be the Tusk as that support roamer, right? You don't have any fancy shenanigans like that. And I'll have to rely on the cores to do the damage for you. And they're pretty open in that regard too. You'd even be thinking about something like a Doom. If they were really worried about the puck. Good against Winter Wyvern 2, just make sure that you take that Winter's Curse out of the picture immediately.
Execration's turn to pick.
The clockwork for now, okay. That works. Looks to be awful in here now with the task already picked up, unless they have some interesting things in mind. Like, I know a guy who's like swears by the carry task, but I don't think that's how they run it. They played it before.
Radiant team pick.
Night Stalker.
Back in this very tournament, so played out up against Clutch Gamers. There was a roaming task helping out in mid. Night Stalker though,
10 seconds remaining.
pretty strong in its own right as far as 4-position roamers go. He'll also
5
give you
seconds
that
remaining.
that vision game, right? That vision potential that you're looking towards. Be very helpful here for the Winter Wyvern, find good targets for the Winter's Curse, as well as the puck, obviously. Able to initiate here across tree lines here with that extra vision. Doesn't necessarily have to go for the Diagonal Scepter. We've seen it every once in a while. In
Execration's
kind of lake
turn.
situations, or in situations where up against initiation that can come from different unexpected angles. So you still go Axis Gem, got that out, but for the most part you can still rely on the Hunter and Knight. So that's 2 seconds of flying vision to give you the edge there,
10
especially in these
seconds
earlier
remaining.
engagements and tower dives that you're looking to try and do.
5 seconds remaining.
Death Prophet though, it's not a easy hero to gank. With the Night Stalker Silence though, together with the puck, it's still very possible. At the very least at nighttime, because you have this long duration with Death Prophet, will not be able to get any of the Spirit Siphons off at the landing stage, so gotta have to keep an eye on that one. At the same time, you also have the snowball save potential from the task, so that should be enough to offset that. On paper anyway, and eventually you're gonna have your Yule Scepter up against those silences, and then, well, Execration still kinda lacking a solution to that at that point. Like, either you need to be able to run away from the Death Prophet, and I guess Winter Wyvern is good enough for that. You can, again, either throw out the Winter's Curse, or at the very least, throw out the Cold Embrace to buy a little bit more time to one of the targets that the DP is going on, and maybe try and turn things around. But you either want to be able to run away with
Radiant
that, or
team
perhaps even
back.
like a Centaur if you're really worried. But it's going to be the Sand King, looks to be the off lane here. Or the other way to do it would be to just go ham and try and burst it down. And that's the idea that Sand King really brings to the table as well, with the Burst Strike Epicenter.
10
So
seconds remaining.
it managed to burst down Death Prophet during that exorcism,
5
then
seconds
it
remaining.
ends up being a huge waste. It slows down the progression, and
Execration's
more
turn
importantly
to
slows
bat.
down the timing tremendously, because if you don't get anything done with this long cooldown ultimate, then, well, it should make sense, right? Alright, there's the Monkey King band out.
10 seconds remaining.
Execration still looking for the one position hero.
5 seconds remaining.
Same from New Beginning, really, so... played a bunch of different things. Throat's getting a little bit sore here from all the casting. I still have my coffee, so that should be good to tide me over for the time being.
Execration's turn to pick.
And Luna Ban makes sense, right? If you look at New Beginnings drafts, like they want to be able to kind of fight and brawl and just spam the low cooldown spells and all around that exorcism to push down towers. In that sense, Luna would fit in
10
decently well with that.
seconds
You have their
remaining.
own ultimate here to work with. Some extra magical
5
burst.
seconds remaining.
And good pushing power here beyond the DP. That's the one thing that they're lacking right now, and something that they might want to fix with their carry pick. Execration, they're lacking the same thing as well, so... the Juggernaut gives you something like that with the healing ward. You can at least sustain through pushes. Eventually, obviously, you're gonna have enough right-click damage to burn through towers rather quickly. But they're more set up to be very stable, win the lanes for the most part. That's what their main idea is here, and then go from there. Win the lane, start roaming around with a puck and a Night Stalker. Get kills here and there and just overpower New Beginning. Seems to be your plan. Well, pick for New Beginning. Didn't have too much time to think about it, but it's the Spectre, okay. Not a pushing hero, but instead some late game insurance, and I kinda like that. Because, as I just mentioned, you're up against this lineup that doesn't really push very heavily until much later. And if the game goes well up until that point, Spectre should be getting bigger and bigger. And you also have a good lineup to play this kind of 4 protect 1 strat, right? The rest of New Beginnings should be able to take fights with the Spectre only having a cursory impact, just with the early haunts just coming in, just swiping the last hit or two on a hero to help the item progression along. The downside is, if that doesn't work out, if there's enough pressure here from Execration in the earlier levels between, again, gonna be a lot on the Night Stalker, it's tanking as well. It's not the funnest lane for Spectre to work against here if he goes for that caustic finale. Spectre is vulnerable early on, so you get a couple of items, but I'm looking forward to seeing a New Beginning can make it work. Spectre player myself, so always happy to see that hero just do things. Maybe a little bit boring to watch, but it is game winning at times. I mean, basically you hit creeps until you get your radiance, and then you hit some more creeps until it gets like your Manta, your heart, or whatever you want to go for, and then you end up killing everybody, which is the fun part. Just surviving up until that point, that is the big issue. Game number 1 and an elimination best of 3 in case you're just tuning in. This is New Beginning versus Execration. The loser will go home. The winner will move up against Geek Fam in the finals of the first phase of these qualifiers for the Galaxy Battles SEA. Looks like we have the lanes that we expect. NJ making his way to the offlane with this kind of build, but alright, I like this movement. The new bounty runes, it's less likely that someone's sitting here because either team spreads out a little bit more defensively. I mean, Ling is still in a good position to break the smoke in time. He sees this coming, but I like the idea. Trying to use this path to wrap around and try and find a way
30 seconds to battle.
To catch somebody off guard. Especially with NB being as spread out as they are, there's no way that they can actually contest this clump here from Execration, so it's gonna be down to them to secure both of these bounty runes as you would expect. Let's find NJ up here and chase him away. This gonna be a 2-for-2 trade. Ferocious here though, looks like he'll get 2 bounty runes to start with on the Spectre,
The
so
battle begins.
as good as it gets. He can get himself a wand if he wants to immediately. Perhaps even a quelling blade to help you farm. Won't that eventually just even if you can't turn it into an Iron Talon, it still helps quite a bit. For now it is that wand, also useful for the attributes and the health reason more than anything else for this hero. Alright. Actually, yeah, that roaming Sand King. Straight up offlane Night Stalker, which is not something I expect. Not the biggest fan of it, because I mean, it's a trade-off, right? Because you're getting some more levels on Night Stalker, at least theoretically. It's getting harder and harder with this new offlane here, but It's also really obvious if you're missing from your lane. So kind of missing out on this surprise factor, this pressure factor from just being off the map the entire time. And Ten King is not even roaming too much because he's limited in that regard too, right? He can walk up, try and wrap up from behind and throw the burst strike, but that's not really a whole lot to work with at this point. Really need your other lanes to do something else. Either that or you just try and find your level 2 on the Sandstorm. Level 3 ideally, and then can go back into the jungle. For now though, Ara looks to be in a lot of trouble here. It's not nighttime, so he cannot fly. He's locked inside the ice shots between the trees. Ferocious here just staggering across and gets lasted eventually. There it is.
Is under attack.
So not only does he get 2 bounty runes, he also gets the first blood on his belt. And, well, what more can you ask for on the Spectre? This is another thing where the Sand King would have probably been better off just burst striking out. Even at level 1. Yeah. It's just a task factor. And Ling has played that before. For the most part he's been on point. There's been like once or twice that I can remember his shots kind of missing, but it's not the easiest skill shot to land. Other than that, he's been remarkably consistent. LTP mid here, Yamate is dropping kinda low. Making sure James doesn't get any fancy ideas about diving in on top of that together with Raging Potato. Who's instead making his way back up top. NJ. Lack of that hero there immediately is just looking to try and be a bit annoying. He did actually go for the rocket fly to try and secure some extra CS. He said he doesn't have the Q to work with. Not that it really matters how he can spin anyway, so he's just gonna get run down. Same time, Night Stalker. Same happens to him down bottom. Another kill towards the Spectre. And well, it's a minute to the night time. RR should be about level 3 by that point. But need some help. That's the other thing, right? I mean, if you're the one that's normally roaming into these circumstances, you still need somebody else to help you get kills. Not exactly the kind of hero that does it solo for the most part. Not a clockwork that you can just find a support and run him down with battery assault if you have 2 points into it or something. So kind of missing out on some of these timings, which means that you'll have to rely on the puck. And James has also been playing exceptionally well in this hero in the last couple of days. So yeah, won't be too surprised to see him be able to accomplish that. But there, you need to be able to rely on him to eventually make these rotations down to the bottom lane, try and put some pressure on the Spectre, because I don't think you just let him farm really like this the entire time. That being said though, he's quite far behind in terms of CS compared to Juggernaut. 13-11 to 19-7. And well, Gaby's though making up for that with some kills of his own. Didn't lasting long enough. Meanwhile mid though, well, they're looking for James, trying to TP out, not quite enough. Super ends up in the Spirit Siphon, extra nukes and Crypt Swarm. Kills all over the map here at this point. RR together with Lumic and Raging Potato. Focus on the Rubik here, so the early Spectre will not be too comfortable going forward here in this lane until he's back. Especially with Raging Potato here, opted for the Cosmic Finale. Taking over this lane for the time being, and this is obnoxious. Very obnoxious to deal with indeed. Ferocious here, doing it well. Dragging the creeps back away from the ones that have been poisoned. Now, be looking for a return kill. It's not the easiest one at this point with 2.7 and Burst Strike. And if you're not quite fast enough to get in range. Not just yet anyway. Meanwhile, RR and Lumic. Kind of a smoke rotation without a smoke, which means it has been scouted out by this bottom ward. Yamate still sticking around here out of tower range. Probably for the best because they have no problems diving the tower. He's just standing there to the left to make sure that they do not get initiation. Meanwhile on bottom, gonna go on Raging Potato, already use the Burst Strike, shots will connect. So he will die. Too ferocious here, another kill. for the Spectre, and reinforcements coming in just a little bit too late. Lumik and now are together. A step too slow. For middle lane, this has been scattered out in bottom lane too. So, new beginning. Off to a good start here in these two lanes. Oh god. That might change though again. Rage Potato back, just making a beeline straight for it if you, but there's the snowball. Delaying this a little bit if you will still die to right clicks, but Rage Potato not being traded away just yet. Lumik with golden breaks just in time. And Execration. Make the play. Only on the Rubik, but again, it also helps to just keep the Spectre away from the Street Wave. Already has the face boots to go with the magic ones, so it's not the worst thing in the world. That plus the Quelling Bait would allow you to start farming up the jungle a little bit. If you really want to. He's not quite there yet, but Ling, you moved somewhere else entirely. You're working together with NJ, who's not quite level 6 just yet. Can't really link up, but yeah, okay. Result that makes a lot more sense here. Rotating up top. Much easier, much safer farm. Night time's about to end, but RR was still just ready to dive around there. He was flying over, breaking some of these trees. Seeing Inspector still sitting around. That's down to Gabby up top to hold down the 40s. Level 7. Really want to go in on this alone. Doesn't necessarily know about who else is here. They throw the scan. He's walking away. The Radiant Ward will spot it out. So in the beginning will be just fine with that. NJ meanwhile finds Lumik here in the side. Again, if he has level 6, maybe that's a dead hero. Instead, he's able to get the TP out of flying to the low ground. Execration, ignorated. Okay, that's not me slash. No snowball targets, so Ling, well, finds it on the creeps now, I believe, if you. Also threatening here to lift Gabi up if he continues forward, so Ling will be fine, even with James coming through. He's the one being lifted up now, takes quite a bit of damage just from a right clicks here. That's a lady, just 1 point up into it. There's a lot of work here, the coil just being thrown out in panic together with the healing ward here. Keep him alive. He also had 1 charges, so he's never in any real danger. Don't think he used the orb yet either, so it's a very hard kill to make happen, but at the very least it's not really threatening the Spectre too much. He was certainly just looking for the tusk, but Ling was already too far out at that point. How's Yamate doing? Do not talismans for the lane, not turning that into a veil, just going straight for the Yules by the looks of it. Probably the right decision in this game, considering the silent sources here that you have available, and also the Omni Slash. A lot of things that you can try and dodge out, and there it is. Spectre with the ultimate here, looking perhaps for Lumik. Off for the bottom lane here, trying to help out Clockwork. So a little bit of action in a couple of places here. Shards and Snowball already committed. They hit 2 another set though. For oh, nicely done. Keeping them away from the Spectre was dropping very low. And Ling still being run down though. Another Snowball. Doesn't have more help though. It's gonna go on Raging Potato. Both of them taking enough to withstand that. Meanwhile, Lumik did go down to Yamate in mid. A lot of action in a lot of plays at the same time. Ferocious here. Wants to try and bring him down, and he snaps a call. Just at the edge, James would have right-clicked him anyways. That's a 1-for-1 trade after all. Back to sticking around for a little bit too long and low health. James making that rotation finally and grabbing that also important kill. We looked at the net worth here and it helped put him down. Still 4.2k net worth, same as Yamate. Gabby is a little bit further ahead, just his kills and the losses that he has over Spectre, which is quite significant actually. So shout out to him. A few of those were jungle camps. Presumably with spins and getting a few more here, so hey. Well played indeed. But this is what you need, right? You need your Juggernaut to start fighting eventually. Going for the Manta style straight by the looks of it. James already has the Veil, going for the Blink, taking next. Not playing Lumic. Oh, the dagger will actually connect to him. Lift it up into the air immediately. Yamate with extra slows. Makes one of the easy kills. So, well, heads up play there too. And now, Death Prophet, the first time we see Yamate doing anything outside of the middle lane. First exorcism of the game here, looking to secure this tower. Dude that we haven't talked about that much as yet, but it's also one that can do quite a bit. Now make rotation towards the middle lane. Isn't still going to get rid of the healing ward. Snowball will connect onto Gabby. That's still obviously available, no spin. He's gonna try and throw that out on level 1, but now the hookshot connecting here, making sure that the rest of the nukes will be on point. So, well, I was talking about the exorcism. If you managed to burst it down or evade it or kite it out or something, kind of a waste, but this was far from it. You get a tower with it as well. Or also helps to get a couple of kills here in mid. So well played in that front. Also well believe the first hookshot that we've seen. I have missed another one when he died down the bottom. Knowing that's on cooldown, he should be fine. He can always fly out of the cogs at night time, so this is RR's time to turn the tides again. Level 7, some exploit. No, not a single point into the silence just yet. No, not that really matters at this point. Yeah, Yamate already has the Yules to counter it out, and this would still help against the task, just make things a little bit easier, prevent him from snowballing or trying to make some ice shard plays. But yeah, can't really fault him for going for the extra points on the Hunt of the Night and the max level nuke. 335 damage on an 8-second cooldown is quite significant. Not to mention the slow that you have on top of that. Keep looking at the Spectre. Ferocious here, especially with that kill on Gabby in the tower, going down, like, it was like 500 gold behind Gabby, and now he's 600 gold ahead. As Mask of Madness, so going for that together with the Aquila. Very cost-effective items. If you look on bottom, the Link gets gone on by James here. The Stance as well as R wraps around, so that's how that hero's is set up for the tower. Lando, Yamate, will pop the ultimate. Our structure's fortified already. Radiant Potato makes a TP to the shrine. They smoke up together here. They want to fight this. Lumic coming through, but yeah, I believe that's been scattered out. It has been indeed. NJ finds a close range hookshot. Now, Spectre coming through with the silence here onto the puck. NJ still alive. Lumic not so much. James trying to throw out whatever spells he can just to try and keep himself alive. Meanwhile, the rest of his team running down the Rubik in the side. They really want the tower, finishing him off with the rest of the Exorcism, but now the Omnislash. He gets 2 slashes off before the Yules. Now the Snowball's safe here. Yamate is still alive, got the Spirit Siphon off, and the Spirits returning here from the Exorcism. Great place here between the Yules as well as the Snowball there. Ensure the DP's survival. Now NJ even with the cogs intercepting Gabby. He has the healing ward going, but there's nothing else to defend himself with the shots. Oh, I was praising Ling earlier, but this was one of these derp moments. Have at least one of those in every game, blocking his own team away from Gabby. Could have been another kill. He did have enough mana for a spin in the end, but sure, yeah, it would have been enough for spin TP, but I don't know. Would have probably been close. Unlucky, as Neff would say in this situation. But still, Yamate surviving there was so big. Ferocious here, also part of a few more kills. As that Radiance queued up now, a couple of jungle stacks to work with. Not the easiest to farm without that Radiance, but it is money. Slowly but surely churning in. And with him asking Mantis here pretty damn fast.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Just
under
at level
attack.
4. Can't really make use of that just yet.
Radiant structures are
Level
fortified.
5, I guess, with the talent too. It's basically an extra level. Does scale with
Radiant's bottom tower
15
has
for the
fallen.
most part. Middle lane. Coming on James again. Let's get the orb off. Okay, but not far enough. Yamate just making a wrap around the cross. None shots connect him, but the empty center burst strike on top of the blink tag. Rage Potato trying to turn this around. NJ might end up falling. His stick charge keeping him alive for now, but he's sitting inside the sandstorm now. R with the nuke and another Rage Potato. Another attack for him means that he does not fall to just the nukes from Yamate. Games goes down, which is never ideal. But Execration, at the very least, make New Beginning think twice about attempting that again without accounting for the sinking. There was a blink reveal, I do believe. Or at least the first time we saw it used aggressively, so that's pretty strong. The portal and off lane are going down to it. Now bottom lane. That didn't soon, we can sneak out very safely. Juggernaut ults in the vicinity, so Ferocious here goes further. He'll definitely be a target if he just goes into the jungle. I think he knows that something's amiss. The rest of the team is also smoking together, so they're not ready to defend him. So they're gonna go now. Who's none the wiser, so he'll be an easy pickup. There's an exorcism available too. I say easy, it's gonna take them a little while, but meanwhile, hookshot. Look for a secondary target here, looming again though, flying across the ridges.
Radiant's middle tower
Be able to make his way out. Yeah. This is saying exorcism is available, so Yamate will be using that to try and burst down his tower rather fast. Also the catapult to work with, so even though the fortification is there, this one will not survive for too much longer. They want to can maybe even defend the bottom tower. They don't have a glyph, they just use it themselves. They want to TP down, have to do it now, and yeah, that's what they're doing indeed. Still going, but this time Execration do not want to fight this. The X is about to expire.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
What's the Radiant status? Well, a couple hundred gold away from the relic. Pretty damn close. And this tower mid, not quite in 9 range just yet. Games not putting it there, just getting rid of the quick wave. So far though, NB still right on track with that game plan. And with the Radiants, much like an anti-mage Battle Fury, not quite, because you can still fight with it, right? It's some really good free damage that you get on everybody whenever you press Haunt with that, so can have a teamfight impact other than the Battle Fury anti-mage, but the biggest impact that the Radiance has is it allows you to farm extremely fast on the Spectre. You can get towards these stat items more quickly. Manta style is a no-brainer this game against all the silences and whatnot, and the Omni Slashes. Okay. Yamate, this time he'll end up falling. Oh, will he? Well, Spirit Siphon comes through. Another one. Okay, they have enough burst. Oh, enough right-click damage in the end to bring him down. No task to snowball save him this time. But Radiant Spectre, get towards his Manta style, get towards it hard. And you get almost impossible to deal with Execration. Gonna have a really hard time bringing a hero like that down. But gotta feel the pressure. Right? They're doing something against it, right? They're grouping up as 5, even at daytime. Just trying to find these kills, trying to find these towers, but without having a dedicated pushing hero, it's not the easiest. Right? They got down bottom because it was uncontested. They got mid because it was super low and uncontested as well. Because New Beginning is close to the Radiance, you don't necessarily want to press hard now if you're the Spectre. Look at this dire vision though. It's also an indication that shows you, hey, want to do something aggressively, you want to take control of the game. Aggressive wards here around where the Spectre's farming, Roshan also being kept an eye on, plus that bound that DD rune. Down bottom you also have one in the jungle. So setting up for more of these kind of pickoffs that they've been attempting time and time again. You could argue that Yamate is as important of a pickoff. I think he's going for the Octarine core next. He has that mystic stuff queued up on the soul boost, already has the Yules and Hut of Defiance. He's the easiest target to bring down. I mean, you saw it even last time, they had like 4 heroes next to him and it still took him a while to kill him through his Burn Siphon charges. So he has a couple of teammates with him. Might even be able to just, or might feel comfortable enough to pop the exorcism, stop turning things around. Now in the beginning, yeah, that is. Spoke up themselves. Look for mid, they know at least the Winter Wyverns here.
Radiant
Favorite
are
punching back
scanning.
in. Not the biggest of targets at this point. NJ has a bit of a vendetta against him. He tries to push him back into silence. No flying shenanigans this time.
Is under attack.
Same time though, bottom lane.
Radiant structures are
But
fortified.
falling, Raging Potato with the epicenter and the extra help. Managing to bring down Ferocious here, which is much more important for him. So, unless in the beginning gets something else off of this, and they'll come out the worse for it, especially with the tower going down up top. So, Execration,
Radiant's bottom tower is under
now
attack.
back into it. Especially hitting the timing just before the Radiant's recipe can come out.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It still had a very good timing, don't get me wrong.
Tower
Maybe
is
it's,
under attack.
should be hitting in about 24 minutes or so, latest. But any sort of slowdown, any extra time that you can buy yourself is going to be significant. Talk about the items here instead of Execration. Mental Style we saw it before, and then Juggernaut going fully classic build into Refusal. So you cannot bring down the Death Prophet anymore, it doesn't get rid of heals as it once did, but failing that you still have that good amount of extra damage output to slow to make sure that people stay in spin as well. I think a Death Prophet's silence coming through. They used to use aggressively here. And Jay was there ready for a hook shot in case RR would continue. But he was all alone, so it was never going to happen really. And it's going to try again. They see him with the sword. Potato, no epicenter just yet. If you breaks the smoke here, but don't quite see them. Lift up on James. First strike, and now the follow-up connecting. Silence, he's trying to juke and jive, but there's plenty of burst. On top of the sandstorm too, so it's the Spectre going down again just before the recipe can come through. NJ takes the full Omni Slash and dies. Gabby with the double kill, and now, even if a creeper have mid, 3 heroes down. Of course, they also bring down the Rubik here, so he was trying to help.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Let's return into a tower. Fairly easily here, they try to get rid of some of these creeps. Be successful. Yamate making that rotation. He's still pretty damn scary, so instead they go for Roshan. Aegis will secure it almost as surely. Execration, they hit that window just in time, really, before the Radiants can restart having a great impact.
Roshan has fallen to the dead.
Just in hand. Alright. Maybe straight down bottom. Still tier 1 there too, so that's helpful. Easy farm. Moon for James, no bottle or anything, so not really all that
Radiant's
useful
top
right
tower
now.
is under
But it's
attack.
about to expire anyway, so well. This is more useful here. Arcane Rune.
Gold remains.
I'm sure they are able to use that for anything though. Brilliant. Alright, first he gets the creep wave without dying. Fine, and yeah, the rest of his team now in a position here to intercept anyone that's coming through this jungle area. So, it's a recipe flying out now. The good times are over. Execration, you have to be a little bit more careful now, and it's, especially because, again, now's the time when you want to use Haunt again.
Do it with flair.
Be surprised to see NB maybe shift towards bottom and look towards the tier 1 tower, try and force a fight, or even smoke up, try and find something here. For now though, plan is, hey, Ferocious is saying, come look at me, I'm pushing top lane. Just 2 supports helping him out,
Radiant's
if you
middle tower
and
is
Link
under attack.
ready to go on anyone that they see. Meanwhile, down bottom, Yamate and NJ, they're on defense duty. I believe they did see Execration was lingering about in the jungle here with the defensive ward that they have. So, I don't think they'll be able to get too close here to this middle lane. With the Rocket Flare, with perhaps even the Crypt Storm, they should be able to try and delay this push. Next wave coming is a Catapult wave. It'll stop at the latest. Once I realize that Execration is still down there, they could start to rotate Rubik and Tusk in there. Maybe not towards the shrine, because you can figure that this is warded. But do they have a smoke with them? Yes, they do. So you can smoke up. Not sure if the chosen mini-map is a smoke TP. You can just smoke up and walk down there if all else fails. Then you can maybe go for the backstab play. Spectre can continue to push and come in once the teamfight starts. Sorry, just finishing my coffee. Not completely cold this time, so better than normal, I guess. Also, don't generally want to talk too much in these kind of pauses if I don't have a co-caster, because my voice is sore enough as it is. I guess we can look at some more items here. Pack with what you would expect. You'll have to try and counteract the silence from that profit, which otherwise would be devastating. 6 seconds is a long time in Dota. Nate Stalker with the Solar Crest. Here again, you don't have to go for the Magnum Scepter. Ready to go. There we are. So we'll see how this develops. Might just be the NB say no, we don't care about this tier 2. Just gonna let it go instead. Down top a little bit more. As I say that though, okay, they do make decisions. Be back down. Gabby actually caught inside the ice shots, but here's the Aegis. So if they go on him, it's pretty much exactly what Execration wanted. They scouted with the Sigil. Let's see what's going on here. The Burst Strike will connect on Yamate. Trying to force out a few extra spells for Pepsi Yules, and now there it is. The Omni Slash in the back though, NJ dropping very, very low. Now the Winter's Curse as well to help finish him off. Now Spectre coming through. That's Lumic going down to that now. Looking for more targets here. Gabby, now we'll lose the Aegis. Only getting the Clockwork kill. Can you get him the second time if they will time the silence well, but they also need the right click damage instant with the blink out. James running interference here with Silence of his own, jaunting across. Looks like that'll be that. So they got the Aegis, they trade the Winter Wyvern for the Clockwork. Overall, considering that tier 2 is still alive, a successful defense, especially if they somehow manage to track down the puck here, but they can silence, but if you I don't believe they had the vision beyond just there, and I think that vision of here, but if you, well, couldn't show on the cross is what the hell?
Got it.
What I expected to happen there, actually. Thought the Execration would just back off and sort of Ferocious here, otherwise he would never be alone that far out. That's a really good kill. Without the Omni Slash, so just the right clicks together with the Burst Strike Epicenter. Alright, so as I was saying, Radiance, good damage output, but it doesn't really make you any tankier. Apart from the miss chance it gives. And okay, they're just diving deep at this point. Holy hell. That will spell out the fact that there's a ward here. I think they're gonna hit me with that if they can secure the tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They're gonna Hagons. What has not been countered just yet. A sentry on the support now. Silence Ocean coming through here. Finds Gabby. Burst Strike trying to turn this around, but catch inside the cogs. NJ is taking quite a bit of damage in return, but now the X isn't committed. But the stun here, Death Prophet snaps the call. Now the Winter's Curse is delaying this a little bit further, even killing off NJ. They need to try and find something here. It is daytime again, so they see a little bit further. Meanwhile, though, another Burst Strike in the backlines. If you, but Gabby turning this around. Omni Slash will be tanked up by the Yule Scepter for the most part. That'll blink straight out. Another Yules this time from the Sacking. Trying to lay some of the damage. The Exodus is not doing too much because Execration, they're kiting this around. Ferocious Seer also. With the Horns coming back off cooldown, maybe can still do something here. This is silenced up. James, he's the one being silenced. The rest of Execration is still looking to continue this fight though. They're all still pretty damn healthy. Now there's the Horn trying to dodge it out, prevent the blink from Raging Potato. Still does some good damage with the Epicenter. Couple of realities across. Now it's time to drop low now, but Are they going to fall? Well, for now it is MB. Link the first, Yamate without the exorcism. Much more, another burst strike, Raging Potato. This is proving to be such a nuisance. Now Ferocious here slowed down by the diffuser blade, clicked away at. The resilience from Execration is just remarkable. He will stay alive for so long and then they just continue. That was like the what? The 5th, 6th, 7th burst strike in this series of events? Was a very long fight, granted, but damn, Raging Potato able to stay alive despite the taunt coming through. And again, there was no detection in the middle of that, I believe. They couldn't right click him down inside the standstill.
You won't be seeing me around.
A prize.
They still haven't countered out that ward. I mean, come on. Maybe you figure, alright, he probably threw out a shot or something. So they could have figured, hey, maybe it's a random task. That's a task probably there, so maybe it's a random link up there, up top. Heck for wards at this point, pretty sure. That's a good kill though here with the silence whilst the hookshot. Trying to stabilize here because NB, look at his net worth. Talking about the Spectre, right? He was right on the path towards that like 22-minute radiance. That got slowed down. You got kill after kill on him, and then he's been forced to fight with that radiance alone. The rest of his team not really being in a very comfortable position. Just because Execration are doing a good job of kiting around Yamate.
I'll take that as
You see here that's supposed to be winning these team fights for you, but if you can't get the damage off with the Exorcism at this point, it's really not a really not easy for him to do so.
This sustains.
Yeah, it's coming down to Lumic as well as Raging Potato. Connecting with these spells, kiting around, making sure that the supports are just looking behind themselves rather than making sure to set up for the Death Prophet. This all around Execration playing very well around what New Beginnings possibilities are right now. Might change though if they're the ones who are the aggressors. We've seen a lot of clockwork in these kind of defensive situations, kind of forced to hookshot in on top of a Juggernaut that you cannot really kill. He's always going to be able to spin, do a lot of damage in return, so he's been the recipient of a lot of this aggression, a lot of this counterplay. It looks a little bit different if they get the jump on somebody, like if they kill on Jameson up in the top lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Alright. Still though, Execration, I mean, just need to look at the graph. That was the fight.
Radiant's top
Kill,
tower
kill,
has
kill,
fallen.
kill, tower, kill, 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 kill. Up to 20k. They have yet to break high ground.
Radiant are scanning.
They have a Butterfly and Juggernaut. They have, what's Jane? Oh god, Yamate, no! Hookshot to try and turn this around here together with the Spectre Haunt here. Yamate is still alive, and this is the kind of fight that they want. BKB and RR, NJ trying to create some chaos in the back, trying to keep Lumic away for the most part. They still comes in with that ultimate Omni Slash bouncing through. It's a little bit of miscommunication. Omni Slash kind of wasted, still get the kill on the Tusk Exchange for the Sand King here. They'll also find Lumic. That was a debate if I've ever seen one. Yamate trusting his team to make sure that, hey, if I get gone on, you're there to help me out. I think enough to withstand any sort of initial burst. And now, with the Exorcism going, it's still gonna go into the Roche Pit. Not the longest respawn, I believe, so we're beginning to get quite a bit lucky here. Aegis and Chi is gonna be in their hands. I don't think that Execration can really fight this right now. James is a madman. He will go in to try and steal it. But, oh, he tried. He certainly tried.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, this is a high-risk, high-reward play. Hit the right timing, but I believe he got pushed back by the cogs immediately. Something like that. He got controlled up and killed. And now, New Beginning, back on track. Still quite far behind in terms of net rows, so make no mistake. But it's mostly down to the supports. As well as a bit here on Juggernaut, obviously, being that strong. But Spectre starting to catch up. Yamate still can feel rather comfortable. He also has the cheese in his inventory now, so... tanky enough already. We've seen it in that last attempt. Execration don't have a lot of burst potential until they get something like a dagger on the back. So DP is fine with the items that she has right now. Spectre just finished up the Mantis Star 2 and now has the Heartbeat up next. So once that gets online, Ferocious Tear will also be much more comfortable.
I'll take your tribute.
Game's far from over, ladies and gentlemen. Execration have to play this out till the end. They cannot afford another series of events like that. That fight in the top lane, it came down to NJ just being able to keep Lumic busy for so long. So see, I was talking about burst potential there, it actually is. Back it down to 1,000 health points, but now the hook shot lands onto R on the back. Not night time, doesn't have the ultimate to cancel by cross, trying to BKB out, and it's not going to cancel it, so that'll be absolutely fine.
Dire's bottom tower is under
BKB
attack.
cooldown.
Regeneration.
Alright. Any level 25 is coming up. Juggernaut is the closest. It's the only slash strikes or the health. We'll see what he decides. Okay. Left profit, what do you get actually on that hero? You get the extra spirits or the haste. I would say you go for the haste in this game, honestly. Been having some issues being kited around. So with that extra movement speed, you can make sure to get that extra exorcism damage out. I'm gonna try again on sinking mids. Silence. Lotus Orb trying to turn this around. He's snowballing on top of the task now, and another burst strike, and also Lotus Orb by Yamate. Very interesting that works out, but well, 4 heroes around you, and none of your own teammates helping out. It'll be very hard to play away out of this one as a sanking.
I'll take that as tribute.
Lotus Orb can be quite hilarious at times, like yeah. Lotus Orb the snowball after you've been hit by the snowball. Then things around on the tusk, and then the burst strike across the Death Prophet was Lotus Orb, so Yamate was also doing the same thing. The other direction. I still don't know why burst strike works like that. Why it's
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
still a unit target, should really be a ground target.
Radiant's middle
Like
tower is under
by
attack.
default, so it doesn't trigger Lincoln's or Lotus Orb, but hey.
Maybe
Maybe it's a balance issue.
I
I don't know. Gonna look for, with these 2 kills though,
Middle
gonna look for the high ground. James trying to lay as much as he can, but they have double catapults. It's not easy to bring down RR. Look for a wraparound play here with the BKB. Punch up into the air. Now nice shots. Link still keeping his Rubik alive. Exorcism no timing out means that you have to settle for that high, for the tier 3 tower. Something that you have ahead of Execration though, which is impressive in its own right, considering that they're still about 12k ahead, but it does feel like NB. But they're the ones with the momentum now. They get kill after kill here. That's another freebie onto a very important target, Gabby. Brought down on the blink of 9. Now it's an invitation to go high ground and finish up the ranks. He does have buyback. He might have to use it here.
barracks are under attack.
And okay. He tosses him with Wyvern, forced off away, NJ. So there's another hookshot available now, but the epicenter burst strike being counted out, so a little bit of an extra stun. Ferocious here. Gonna use the Aegis now. Does not have the haunt. One downside here, no mana style either, so I'm not sure how strong NB actually are right now. They're trying to bring down RR. Meanwhile, another burst strike hits on 2. The Winter's Curse, again, a little bit wasted. Been doing too much damage with that, but now Yamate trying to protect him from all up, so the cheese to stay alive a little bit longer. No access in there either. NJ, he'll be another sacrifice as Gavin ready Potato go inside the cog. Ferocious here as well though, trying to get him alive, and another burst strike with Lotus all the way. You're gonna start to track down more and more people, including the Spectre. Baby Potato. Well, Yamate is still going. He does have did have the extra exorcism. And Well, Rubik just hanging around. Okay. Okay. All of my instincts would have said that you should not have taken that fight. As soon as Gabby buys back, you just turn tail and run. Maybe you lose 1 or 2 heroes. But I stuck around for so long just trying to kite around the front lines where Senking was creating issues and trying to bring down the Nightstalk and back. And yeah, they didn't have the ultimates, they didn't have the exorcism, they didn't have the haunt. It's questionable. Questionable to say the least. Now they're forced to buy back again. As Execration looking to bring down a tier 3 of their own here. They don't quite have the catapults. Okay, Oz actually flying in. It does have the blink follow up NJ. Oz's hook shot actually being blocked, but that's proper. They keep him there for a little bit longer. You'll Scepter, but again, no exorcism, so very limited damage output here from Yamate. NJ gonna focus on him first. Epicenter being committed with the Lord's Orb. It's really helping out this time here. Silence, but now the Horn come back off cooldown. All speaking snap, that was a stolen call from Rubik too. That was setting up quite a bit there. Gabby flipping next on the list, trying to spin away, gets the healing ward. No TP available. Rid of the wards, blinks into the trees. Yeah, the rocket, I think it's seen. They get the roof, mends it off. He's trying to juke and jive, but will not be able to get another blink off. Keep taps of him here with a dagger connecting. And that's a dieback in him. Maybe that was the plan all along. Just beat yourself away, buy back, win a team fight, so it's a dieback in Juggernaut. And you then go across and win the game? I don't know. Games, oh, that would have been a big one, but if you and NJ quick in range. Oh, Rubik might have been able to blink lift. Oh, I was looking for it. Again, James. Accomplished on the series. Quick on the trigger fingers. What's not sure. Show me the experience while hovering over. That's annoying. But he's like what the hell is he doing? He's just standing there. He's waiting to skip the creep wave, but it's not really going to matter, is it? Probably run across on the other side, so they will lose the racks with the exorcism. Lose a second set. They can't get bottom. There's even tier 1 still alive. Above half health. That is Wind's Curse. Full right clicks. Here, helping kill Ling here with the Epicenter Barrel Strike on 3 heroes. No further follow-up, so Rainy Potato just trying to late as much as he can, but looks like he should be able to die here in the side. Maybe not though. Yeah, eventually. They do track him down. Burst Strike countered out as well, and another root here on the Winter Wyvern. Balvik already forced. Getting them 1-1 Execration, growing their bodies here for no real gain until just now. They get another kill onto Quarko. Ferocious, he has the big prize though. That's the one that they're looking for, him and Yamate. Still alive though, in the middle of that, trying to just straight up TP out. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Field Scepter, Burst Strike. Even with the heart though, it's making it very, very difficult. Not difficult enough. He's also level 25, so extra dispersion. James almost died to that in the end, but him left to his own devices with the support staff being down means that they will still go again and be perhaps overstaying their welcome a little bit. But they still get 2 sets of racks. Still a buyback available on Spectre for emergencies. Buyback Haunt even, so. Gotta wonder if Execration can turn things around now in terms of pushing down racks, but at the very least they should be able to force out that buyback. Especially with that Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shot now in the inventories. Maybe he went for the extra 600 health instead of the Omnislash Strikes. Still sitting at only 2400, so it's ready for the best. Now the stun's coming through, Mantle it off. He's also the one holding on to the Refresher Shot, so you still have double Omnislash if you really want to, double Manta. Double Spin. Do force out of the buyback on the Spectre, no Haunt used just yet, so NB is still kind of fighting ready, especially once Clockwork comes back into the land of the living. You're gonna have Haunt, you're gonna have Exorcism.
Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
Execrationing. I don't know, these teamfights they go really weirdly. Never really full 5-on-5, is it? That's newbie, or new beginning newbie. Also walk in like they did was because they knew that Gabby didn't have buyback. Of that. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Give or take. 6.5 left on the Spectre, so you just use it obviously. Gotta be a bit careful. If Spectre dies, I mean, very real potential that Execration can turn things around. Okay, but now for now, initiation onto the Winter Wyvern. Can you get anything off here? No, it's being perfectly chain stunned. Now the Horn's being used, so you just make sure that Execration's not sitting right around the corner. There's a scouting hound while they were working away at the bottom tier 1 tower. Finally bringing that one down. They should also have no problem bringing down a tier 2. But Execration has smoked up. They want something here. They're looking for Rubik. They're gonna bring that one down. Winter Wyvern buys back TP's of the Shrine. The Snowball used on RR. The Link makes the call. Hey, let's get the hell out of here. NJ though, he does get caught. TP interrupted. So he should be dead. Nullifier, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, it's a Nullifier Night Stalker. Alright. That works. Talk about that in a second. Dagon that I was talking about earlier on the park. Together with the Agnum Scepter, so super useful in these kind of fights where NP want to run around and kite a little bit. The other items, but yeah. That Night Stalker. Spirit Vessel, super good upgrade. Especially here when you think about a Death Prophet. I'm not sure how it works exactly with the Spirit Siphon. Whether it kind of counts as region that's being slowed. Regardless. Without that he's sitting at 20 health region, which is insignificant. But for now it's Execration, you're gonna try to barrel down the bottom lane. There's no clockwork for another while. We're gonna buy back another 1 minute and 20 seconds, Gabby though. He's SCHs, but don't want to give it up like that. It's for free. Have another big creep wave coming through the lane as well, and that's exposed already. So James starting to work away at that at the same time. Without the clockwork, you don't really have an easy way to go in, at least not one that's isn't a big commitment with the Haunt or very obvious with the Snowball. What Execration get though before the clockwork respawns is a bit of damage to the range racks. The catapult might very well be able to finish it off actually. And oh whoa. I think that catapults switch aggro just at the end. Use mid attack animation on the last hit on the ranged.
Don't mind if I do.
But Spirit Vessel pretty good. Nullifier could be potentially devastating as well. Kind of prevent the Manta style from the Spectre, and more importantly the Yules from the Death Prophet. Yule throws up all these defensive utilities that Yamate has. So if you get on top of him, get the Nullifier off. It's also a thing that can dispel. And I believe they just made it that... Oh wait, they made it that Yule Scepter is not able to be dispelled anymore, right? The way it works, or was it just the blade? I think you can't dispel Yules anyway, but I figured it off earlier. That would be fine, but having that dispel available too is never going to be a bad thing. Alright. This game is very limited usefulness for that particular part, but yeah, it's mostly that preventing that the items to come out. But Vessel now up on link 2. Oh, the hook shot will connect in the back here. Meanwhile, Execration, they're looking for the front. They try and burn on the death over the game. Nullifier coming into play here. Not quite enough. Did get Exorcism off as well as I think 1 or 2 Spirit Siphons. Yamate is still very much alive. Gabby in the middle of that. He has silenced up, meant into their way, but now he has to walk. But the blocked up by the eye shots, controlled up by the punch. Ling, well, is forced to fight him into the Omni Slash and will get lucky with the last slash and gets Blink away afterward. Meanwhile, in the backlines, Execration, the rest of them also still able to stay alive. This isn't committed plus the Haunted. Don't lose a single hero so far. That's pretty damn good. NJ has an Agnum Scepter of his own, so low cooldown hook shots. Nice out of mana though. Now another Burst Strike. Raging Potato No epicenter to work with, but, well, he has plenty of teammates trying to bring down another Clockwork. Will fall in the end. But what cost Sand King? Big control factor here is dead for another minute until he has buyback.
Radiant
Lumik. Oh. It's a little bit longer than that even. The rest of Execration do have buyback available, so they maybe feel comfortable continuing. If you very low, James really wants to get that kill. If he someone get close again, he can stab him down. There it is. Now the call to keep the big tanky cores away. These fights, they get harder and harder for Execration to take. This one ended up being ended up working out very well just because they've been able to force all the DP spells early and then able to stay away from the exorcism for the most part. So, like, it's gonna be the main thing, right? You cannot afford to stand and fight against a death prophet anymore at this point. 2.7k health points, haste as well. All of this defensive utility. Unless you get the nullifier off, try and burst it down, bring her very low. You can't even think about trying to kill her, I think. You have to try and kite her out as much as you can. And that's mostly going to depend on the initial positioning and fights. And just the decisions that Raging Potato makes, as well as Lumik, of course, on Winter Weapon. Yeah. I think the approach is right in that sense. They've been able to accomplish that, and they've also been focusing on the supports first. After that, after they realized, alright, we can't actually kill these cores. Can't really easily kill Yamate, and Vector can't kill him either. It's like 30% dispersion. So, 22 armor. That's another 52% physical resistance. He has a heart and everything, so he's sitting at almost 4k health points. Plus the butterfly. You can't really kill him unless you have a couple of people wailing away at him without him having any help. Even then it can get a little bit tricky at this point. Just the power of the late game Spectre, right? Buyback available again in the Yamate buff. In terms of racks, New Beginning still have the advantage. Execration haven't really been... They've been able to claim a couple of tier 3s, but no set of racks just yet in either of these lanes. All that New Beginning needs is one single team fight. Even just a skirmish, like 1 or 2 pickoffs on the right heroes. Keep the buyback status actually. Everyone has it on the Dire side, apart from the Winter Wyvern. Could be significant. Yeah. Managed to find an angle here. That could be enough. And if they just take a fight here on the high ground with the exorcism going and the Yamate kind of keeping close to the tower and the buildings, could be able to do significant damage and go towards his mega creeps. It's not necessarily a lineup that cannot defend against it almost definitely here, but it's not the easiest one to work with either. It would require some Maelstroms or Battle Fury even to come out. They haven't really itemized against mega creeps. Then not really helping the meta for Execration to try and take these fights if you're bearing down against mega creeps, because if you're gonna take these fights, you need to take them very slowly and very carefully. You need to be able to finish up the supports without losing your heroes, and to then turn around to try and kill the Death Prophet and the Spectre. And that takes time, and if you're up against mega creeps, you're not gonna have a whole lot of time, because even if you push out all the waves, theoretically, if you were to push out all the waves over here, they would still push across very, very easily. A single mega creep wave can go all the way, I believe, against normal creeps. Really a situation to think about too much, so I don't know the exact math on that. But it sounds about right. So that basically means that if this goes to mega creeps, if MB can make that work, then it would come down to an all-in mid kind of play for Execration. That would be their last ditch effort, the last chance to still turn this game around. As it stands, NB playing a bit careful here. They are holding on to the buybacks on Spectre as well as Yamate. Just waiting for Execration here. They don't have a lot of information about them right now. They only see James and they figure, hey, maybe that's bait. The real bait is down bottom. No one falling for that just yet either.
Double harm shall I deal.
To say that though, Yamate is making his way in here.
I'll take your
Not a lot of vision for Execration either, so if he just goes in lane alone, I don't necessarily know if it's a bait. With a hook, with a rocket coming through from this angle, they realize, hey, something's amiss, but now the hookshot NJ, not wasting time at all, then silence. He's looking 4 stuffs out. Now the Haunt coming through, Snowball. They'll just opt around, so it's actually saving him for a bit, but well, he has the accepts of his own. Does have not a before Gray silenced up, so he'll be right-clicked down by Yamate eventually, one would think. Meanwhile, Waiting Potato has the full attention of the rest of NB's lineup. Lumic trying to buy as much time as he can at this point, but he's not going to survive this for too long. Two supports down, Lumic buying back immediately. Waiting Potato also has it available. There it is. Making the decision. They need to mount a high ground defense. New beginning, they didn't have to expand anything here, but now the epicenter right as Yamate pops the ultimate. Not sure about this one, that's a big AoE, but not a lot of damage here at this one. Waiting Potato down to half health again. This might just very well be a dieback despite the snippets I've turned around. James with the coil trying to do what he can, but It also has very single target damage. Omni Slash not really doing too much against the cheese. The ultimate onto Death Prophet. Down to like half health. But Yamate will still find the X isn't going and whipping away at everything. Meanwhile, Waiting Potato and back, still alive somehow. Question is for how much longer he's full cycling around, just trying to create chaos in the back, but the cores from New Beginning, they are not phased by this. They are doing the objective-based gaming thing. They'll lose Rubik, that's Dagon. Jump on attack as well. James looking for NJ, should be able to finish him off eventually here with the Dagon coming back on cooldown. Meanwhile, Snowball on front. Slick on side shot, punched up, Gabby. Gonna do what he can. Now the Pistol Blade and Death Prophet. No X isn't this time, so he will actually end up falling. Buyback straight up with the Boot to Travel TPN. They want to end this game right here, right now. Ferocious here. Yes, still has the Aegis even. Everyone's alive for Execration, but the question is for how long. They will not be able to prevent the Mega Creeps. And, well, they get another kill. Games with the Dagon just doing some work, but it seems almost impossible. Here's the first life from the Spectre. Yamate with another exorcism. He even bought a refresher in the meantime. Make that happen. Oh, buybacks from both sides. Coming out left, right, and center. Ball being snapped here by Yamate. He's going to turn something with a snowball. Save from Ling and making sure Yamate will absolutely find another burst strike. Coming across. Gabby down to half health. He's going to be right click down inside the spin, or is he? The help from Lumik, another 4-star. Gabby stays alive for the time being. Does he still a bobby? He does indeed, but well, epicenter, that's another one. Doesn't do anything really at this point. James though brings down Rubik another time, so that's one dieback. James though, well, can he extricate himself out of that situation? That is the next question. Pushback by the Cogs, and the answer is no. He doesn't buy, we'll use it immediately now. Another burst strike on 3, Execration fighting for their lives right now. James with a double kill, just continuing, him and Gabby both unkillable here, but NB, they're focusing on the buildings. It's only the Ancient still standing. But the Ancient and all the heroes, you could say. Vector will end up falling to Dispersion, almost killing everybody. Certainly are. What was that team fight? It lasted for like a solid 5 minutes, it felt like. 7.7k gold lost on the side of New Beginning. Execration, they're 30k gold ahead. But they're the ones who only have the Ancient available.
I'll take that as tribute.
For them, it really is Dota now. Defense of the Ancient. No defensive towers or buffer buildings or anything. Bend your Ancient. Walk across. DTOA. Destroy the other Ancient. That's the other aspect of it. And as I was saying, they're not itemized yet to work against Mega Creep for all too long. So they do the only make the only play that's available to them. They buy a Rapier on Juggernaut, they're bearing down mid lane, and with all these buybacks expended, NB, so much happened there. They all died back, apart from the Spectre. That means an Execration. Alright, that's a Hawk. Coming in here for the... Well, first is here. Alright, he's coming in. Wants the pressure. There's still a bunch of Mega Creeps in the maze. They're working away at the Ancient. And now Execration have to make a decision. They make the decision to fall back with the extra heroes extra heroes respawning and trying to bring down Spectre. He's working the Ancients though together with the Creeps. Limit trying to tank the map. They're going down, but still Spectre. Versus Seer dies. He is not coming back for a long time, and he is falling. Ancient is down to 800 health points, but there's no catapults in sight. Execration will make the defense happen another time. But Spectre, he did buy enough time for the rest of his team. Execration would not have been able to make a trade if Gabby, even with the Rapier, if he went for the trade, for the base race, it would not have been possible. Now, 90 seconds till Spectre is back. Gabby still has buyback boots of trouble, but at this point it doesn't really matter, does it? Lose the Rapier, might as well call GG at that point. What if he wants to pick up a second one at some point?
This sustains, gold remains.
This game turned to absolute madness here. Execration holding on for dear life. New beginning, objective-based gaming. So far behind in terms of gold and experience. Well, everyone heading into this level 25. It's no matter whatsoever. Pass on the buyback status. There we go. Okay, top lane. James. Get the hell out of there. You cannot afford to die. Gabby, again, do one with buyback, and that's the one that doesn't really matter. Games went for the plus 420 GPM. What we can do with that? I guess you can start building moonshots, and now big one. Every kill is a big one at this point. Buybacks and cooldown. Meanwhile, outside of the map, Gabby makes his way out. All they claimed was the range tracks in mid, and that was low from earlier when James was blinking away at it.
Boom, there it goes.
Yeah, I guess we could start building moonshots. That's one thing. Juggernaut already has one. Alright. Our level 25 that we haven't talked about yet. Minus 0.3 seconds battery salt interval.
Players here.
You go for the battery salt damage, so it's not as crazy, but those two towns together actually make a huge difference. Because the duration stays the same, right? What does it? 2.5 seconds?
And it's off.
Yeah, it should, yeah. So your damage output is increased significantly with that talent. It's not just the extra stun. It's essentially as good as a normal stun. If there's any sort of cast point on any ability, you won't be able to get it off. So that's a lot of fun for the Clockwork. Dave went for the haste, we talked about that earlier. That's not quite there. Could go for a punch. Ice Shot's cooldown. Not sure what's... Not sure how much right clicking he's doing here. For health regen. Sandstorm slow and blind. 50% would have been potentially ridiculous though, but I guess the plus 35 health regen was one of the reasons that he stayed alive for so long in these last couple of fights, and it's more important at this point. They need him to be able to throw out burst strike after burst strike, and he's been doing that this entire game. Been on point with that time and time again. Right. What about Roshan? Be coming back in 30 seconds. Will be a point of contention again. New beginning to actually have the advantage there because FQB is pushing in Execration. They cannot afford too much time to sit around the road bit and wait. They have to respond to this now. Horn just to confirm where things are at, and also to kill James. No buyback for another 1 minute and 40 seconds. This could be an opportunity for new beginning. James, one of the big reasons that Execration held on for as long as they did in the last fight. One of the main reasons they got kills at all. He was just zipping around, just juking and driving, pressing Dagon on cooldown essentially. But don't want to barrel down there, but maybe not exactly sure about the exact buyback timing. Very hard to keep track of that when everyone's doing it. So, figure out the Roach is back. Yamate. Let the soul it up a little bit. See coming in for quite some extra damage.
Dire's top shrine is
The
under
Thresher
attack.
himself, so already has another horn. Also gonna pick up Aegis, I guess. Like, should get through Thresher shot too. Also say Spectre 2, yeah. These have 2 slots with Boots of Travel as well as 3 Thresher orb. They both a shard. Means that cooldown's gonna be a lot longer, but willing to win the game with the next fight. You have 2 horns still. Got the second life. You have Gabby already TPing back. Execration Nate cannot do the flip this way. It's never going to work.
Is under attack.
Ancient has recovered for the most part here, back up to 3.5k health points.
Dire's top
The
shrine.
shrines finally end up falling after almost at the 65-minute mark. This top shrine going down. The problem that I see now is Social Spectre with a second life, right? NJ has got one with 3 years boots of travel. Ling, he can buy back, but doesn't have an easy way to win. Yamate though, he does. Even has the refresher orb, so you will have 2 different exorcisms as well. Execration has gonna have an extremely hard time defending this. Epicenter doesn't do a whole lot of damage at this point. That's the problem, especially when he gets going on here. There's the first horn coming through. Gabby falls down into the back. Lumik is still in the front, so if he goes down, a bit of an issue. That's a buyback. We'll have to use it. And there's the secondary horn, destroying out everything that they can. Targets on both sides here. Clockwork coming right back in. Gabby gets a kill. That's a double. Both supports coming back. The Ancient has to be taken care of as well. As Catapult's coming through too. Rubik caught with his curse. Nobody else though for Urshi, none of that AoE, so he's not providing the damage. Yamate in the front with the Ult Scepter. 1 exorcism going. Still has the second life available as well. And Execration just don't quite have the damage here to eat through that. Gabby needs to right click away, but now gets hookshotted up, dragged back, and now right clicked away to the after detection, even the dust in the late game. Very effective indeed. Gabby will barely be able to make it back to the base. Maybe not just yet. They will recover the rapier. Triple kill for Yamate though, the Ancient. It's a big old aura, but only for a couple of seconds. It will go down to the catapult. New beginning. All they needed to do was keep Execration busy in that fight and let the catapults do the work. What a game. What a game. Execration. Let's take a look at these graphs. Because they've been ahead essentially all game in terms of gold. At a ludicrous amount, you know, about 30k near the end. But it didn't matter. Because kills, gold, it means nothing. But throne means everything. And this is a game that definitely shows that. 40-55, but new beginning. Take game number 1 here in this best of 3 elimination series. The loser will go home. The winner will move on here. The Galaxy Battles SEA qualifiers. Gonna take a break, but I'll be back with game number 2 soon. Don't go too far away.
Oh, I'm intoxicated. I got a legend on the way. I'm falling for you, baby. What can I do to make you stay? The bassline's taking over. We've come too far to turn around. So turn the music louder and let my feet not touch the ground. Cause I'm in a daze and you're driving me crazy. Please can you stay even just for the night? I'm losing my way, but don't try to contain me. Cause I'm still running wild. Cause I'm in a daze and you're driving me crazy. Please can you stay even just for the night? I'm losing my way, but don't try to contain me. Cause I'm still running wild. Running wild. Oh yeah. Running wild. Oh yeah. Running wild. Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for game number 2 here in this BO3 series, elimination series I should say, between New Beginning and Execration, Galaxy Battles SEA qualifiers. New Beginning, game number 1, with a victory in the back of a late game Spectre as well as a Death Prophet. They were 30k behind at one point, but Execration unable to pull it out in the end because they were out of buildings and they didn't quite have the damage to contend with what New Beginning's tanking is at that point, essentially. Bit of a slugfest in the end with buybacks from every side. At one point, looked like Execration might be able to just straight up win because of it, but Ferocious here. Good place there, just forcing them back in time enough for the rest of the team to respawn. Definitely one of the significant moments in that particular game, excuse me. But for now, new game and new luck, and one last chance for Execration to keep their run alive. See what they can do. Queen of Pain, Ogre Magi also making an appearance again. I believe they ran it once and yesterday as well against Clutch Games. Don't have the data because, and yeah, I'm bad with memorizing that myself. And the draft data is not on Dota Buff because we had to all pick remake. I didn't pick, yeah, they didn't pick Ogre Magi there. They did pick it up against Clutch Gamers in the first match, so yeah. The thing is, they're not a stranger to Zero. They don't pick it as often as some other teams do in this qualifier, so that's the kind of the point that I wanted to make. But kind of solid, doesn't really tell you too much about the draft other than, hey, they're gonna have a right clicker, guys, that can use Bloodlust, yay. Every team has one of those, generally speaking. In the Pain, also even not too worried about that. Can be happy about that. Tiny is a big one though, right? You don't necessarily get a lot of attack speed on him, especially for run him as a 4 role, which I believe is the way Execration has also been running it. No Geek Fam on March, they're running him as a 3 role instead. So this hero is still being figured out with all the changes that he's had. But regardless, he's eventually going to do the same thing and can benefit from the extra attack speed to help burst down towers a little bit easier here with a fresh tree. And also up against heroes, right? It works just as well. But we'll get to the point as another story entirely. New Beginning, they start off with the Undying as well as the Disruptor. Could be something here. It's definitely more early game focused than last game already. Disruptor, very Third team fight control-y, same for the Titan to really with the Ravage, also very solid laner. One of the few offlaners here that can even survive in most matchups. Very hard to bring down unless you have some good magical nukes
10
available.
seconds
Juggernaut would come
remaining.
to mind again as one of these heroes that can bring him down with just a
5
little bit of help.
seconds remaining.
Execration want to go back for that after last game. Another new beginning. It's pretty clear what they want to do based on their heroes already. Right? You have Disruptor, you have Titan, you have a lot of teamfight. Undying adds on top of that as well. You have these combos, right? You have ability to keep people in an area, and you also have the Tombstone, which makes it really, really hard for them to fight in that area. So you just want to run down lanes, lane after lane, essentially. Once Titan gets a mechanism or something, they have a couple of basic items, and then bring down towers and end the game rather early.
Radiant team
To do that, they'll
pick.
need some extra pushing cores. Death Road has been banned out. Dragon Knight will come to mind. Perhaps even Luna, though, could be enough. They need something that hits towers. One way or the other. Kiro, the beginning can't quite fit that
10
in.
seconds remaining.
The Undying. Titan being picked up as well also means that Undying is the
Turn
full
to
roll.
ban.
And Medusa, okay. That kind of works. Bit of late game insurance as well.
Radiant
And,
team ban.
Can join the rest of the team. Like, it does fit into this general idea of wanting to fight in an area, right? You works very well with the Disrupt the kinetic field and whatnot. So you can just pop your ultimate, walk in. Even after the Titan ultimate, right? So a lot of combo potential
10
on the side of the
seconds
beginning
remaining.
there. And, well, if you kill all of their heroes,
5 seconds
then
remaining.
you can easily kill the towers afterwards as well. And if you don't kill the heroes because they're fighting into you, well, then you still kill the tower. Very hard to try and counter that out, but Execration there, with the Jakiro, they're on the right path, right counter push. That's what it's on. Drop down a Macropie, get rid of the Creeper, try and slow them down as much as you can. Give your carry as well as your mid co-op at this point enough of an opportunity to get bigger and bigger and find these big offs. That pick that might also actually be a tiny offlane, but hero offlane is a thing. Almost like that more here in this instance, because if you get these levels early, between that and the Queen of Pain, you have a ridiculous amount of magic damage to work with. At the same time, it might also be an argument to have him as a support, to have him zone out the Tide Hunter in the bottom lane. Or top lane in this case, yeah, if they don't die. Well, what they want to do. In any case, like having early levels on the Jakiro is always going to be useful. They'll need a core.
Radiant
Someone to run a
team
tiny
pick.
one position. I don't believe I've seen that before. The beginning, they also still have the option to pick up another hero for mid, or just run a Medusa there and pick up a safe laner now. Or
10
yeah, Vengeful
seconds
Spirit.
remaining.
I like the Band from Execration because that's the other option that the beginning have. Just run a Tide Hunter safe lane, go for an aggro lane with that, as well as the Undying Disruptor. And with the Slaughter on the field, might very well be the case. Because that's not a traditional carry either way. I think that's what they're gonna try and
10
do. An
seconds
Execration,
remaining.
well, Orca Magi doesn't really work too well in these kind of circumstances.
5
Good against solo
seconds
offlaners,
remaining.
like you can punch them a little bit. Jakiro is a lot better, because that dual breath, if you hit on a couple of heroes, it's 2 or 3 times as effective, obviously. But still, Slaughter, Undying, Disruptor, not necessarily perfect in trial lanes either, but just between Slaughter and the Undying, having Crush and thus that decay spam can turn ugly very, very fast. Execration. They have another minute to think about it, but they've settled on the sniper. Okay.
Choose your hero.
Gabby, Queen of Pain. Game sniper. With sniper and safe lane co-op, or do they go for some sort of aggro themselves, trying to dodge it out? Sure, there's no way, right? Maybe, but trying to think about it, but don't think you can leave Tiny alone. I think dual lanes would make the most sense, right? Try and run Lumic and RR together. And just hope for the best on Jakiro and Gabby. Well,
10
I
seconds.
gotta say, I do
remaining.
like New Beginning's lineup a little bit better. You do have Yamate,
5
which
seconds
on a
remaining.
Medusa, which is late game. The backup, so they should be able to match up. But it's a single core in late game, right? You don't have a lot of extra damage deals beyond that. Whereas on Execration, you have Tiny, Queen of Pain, snipers. So this is this is not the plan for New Beginning. They want to end the game much earlier. They're kind of lacking the really powerful easy push. Right? They really need to just stand there, be far enough ahead that they can feel comfortable, just even tanking the tower for a little bit, and forcing them to fight into you while you have Mechanism and Ravage and everything available. That's not the case. Like, if they aren't ahead, Execration can get off to a good start when some of these lanes and
Prepare for battle.
have threat potential of their own, then that strategy might fall flat on its face here for a New Beginning. We'll find out though. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, game number 2 between these two teams. New Beginning wins, then they'll through to the next round. They'll be facing up against Geek Fam. Loser of the series will be out of the tournament entirely. A bit of a tussle here. That's probably not, I mean, the beginning. Fighting out like that means that you don't really want to take a fight, you just want to see if you can... The other team maybe does the same, and you can sneak an extra
30
bounty run or two.
seconds to battle.
But for the most part it should be that very standard 2-for-2 rune change. Rune exchange here on both sides. If they want to give Yamate both of them. Can't do that. I mean, even with the extra 10 seconds, or especially with the extra 10 seconds, you cannot TP in the lane right away. So you have this extra time to walk across to the outer bounty rune. You have one of the supports block for you at mid, and you TP straight to tier 1. Yeah, it looks to be the case. Pretty useful. Doing a similar thing here. But yeah, they do spread out the bounty rune. One for James, one for Gabby, but I want to suppose we'll start the block anyway. James still holding on to the 2 scroll, so is Yamate. So you can just walk down there too. That also works. If you spend some time bring down some of these Stack Storms, but taking quite a bit of damage in return already. James forced to spend some rifles on that rather than try to annoy Yamate, so I guess that's something. Lumic now making a rotation to match that aggression as per usual, but let's leave it to B2 top. It is RR together with Raging Potato up against this dual lane. Undying can be very hard to deal with Lumic. Wrap me around, but not a whole lot you can do up against Yamate at this point. Throwing out Ignites, trying to hold the other support. So that leaves the bottom lane Tidehunter versus the Queen of Pain. Tide should be fine, he has plenty of regen, right? 2 sets of tangos. But he started off with a mango as well as a star for emergency. We should be fine, because should be getting his levels in a decent amount of farm. Top lane should be dominated here by the Undying, with or without the Jakiro. So Ferocious here, he's he's the one position here in this game technically. We'll be able to get that farm. For now, Yamate is also holding his own up against James. Very even in terms of CS. Let's see if that changes anytime soon. Both these supports, I mean, they have spells to throw out. Now the shrapnel. Want to commit here, Lumik, way too deep. Or is he? He's gonna be the first blood. Yeah, very far from if you. Now the shrapnel, that's his third one committed, so James gets the counter kill. Well, it's a kill for James, but not for Yamate, as he nice snake down the illusion, get that extra bit of damage out. If you, he was throwing the first blood himself. Or at least he's got his boots. Yeah. His top lane. Impressive that Tiny is able to get as many deaths as he is. I mean, the insane amount of damage and the sort of thing that you get from the tree. And some of the throw as well, that does help. But then continuing with the decay spam. Cannot straight up fight into that. Can fight into Slaughter though, I mean, for Sia. He's out of region now, eating his last tango. Undying has some heals of his own, not too much mana to work with though. And, gotta want to know what build he wants to go. If he wants to just put the 2 points up in DK and Soul Grip to be more laning focused, or if he wants to start maxing out the Tombstone. Almost too good to pass up at this point with the changes that it's had. Yeah, it's lasts for 30 seconds by default now. Yeah. So scaling from 15 on upwards. Oh, just farming up. Yeah, but she's fucking super low here. Pops his own self. By time he turned to Mango into Magic 1. Still has more tangos as well as the self. Not top though. If you and Ferocious here, they were they were smoked out, they commit the Tombstone RR. Trying to TP out, there's no glimpse available here actually, but they're still gonna get the kill. Right clicking away, barely having enough damage. Bring down the Rockman. Now wrap around the Execration zone, Rage Potato and Lumik up on the high ground. We'll see if you come through. There should be that disruptor here, alright. He's trying to TP out himself, but it's not gonna happen either. So far, so even on pretty much all lanes. And Gabby is getting a slight lead here in terms of blast hits. Up against Tidehunter. There's a thing with the Queen of Pain. You're very happy about a lane like this because Shadow Strike is not being mitigated at all. You can put that second point into it for some really good harassment. Oh, Lumik. Thing is there on top of it, and he's gonna be taken over. This middle lane beauty here, babysitting Yamate. Getting 2 shrapnels though, but James can't really get too much done with that, so now gonna have to wait 35 seconds for the next one. Little waits perhaps, but now top lane, they're gonna go for Ferocious here, as well as a few. Dual Breath Headland on both of them. He's trying to slip on out of there and was successful. Lasting long enough, does have another crush. Toss over here onto Rage Potato. Almost brings him down, and not Liquid Fire. They'll be just fine now. Perhaps with the turnaround crush as Link also comes through. RR goes on the avalanche after the stick, but it's not gonna be enough. He's bigger than his stomach at this point, and now they're all just fine up. Very efficient indeed. Now they'll turn their top lane slightly in favor of the beginning. Now they continue to farm mids. Slightly ahead in terms of CS at this point. Sniper does have the better animation, but can kind of struggle a little bit with the damage. Rage Potato is gonna follow him. Eventually, yeah. Nice avalanche. RR still trying to fight, but this time there's still glimpse available here. You gotta be a bit careful. Luna coming through from the side, gets crushed up instead. Can then feel to keep them in. He turns to right click Ferocious here with a toss up in the air, but he has stick charges of his own. It's coming up here. Another crush in a second. That is. They get the double kill, and if you RR, he's trying. He does have another toss, but out of range. They don't have the vision to finish up that kill, and now no more mana here for Glimpse, so now the toss instead on the Undying. And he's a little bit stronger than he was at that point. Enough burst after all, especially with Rage Potato coming back in. If you don't think he'll be able to really kill him. He's trying though. Put up a Dual Breath, put up a Liquid Fire. It's very strong still at this point. get away with it. Again, Slaughter surviving, gonna be important. Yeah, with the carry Slaughter, he's going for the extra attack speed with the treads, rather than the tranquil boost that we often see. And after that, you still go for the blink dagger, and basically still do the same things, except you have hit these timings a little bit earlier, at least you're supposed to. Lumic, alright, he dropped down the ward, it'll be counted out as soon as they get this kill. This has got inside the kinetic field, also available too if they need it. But I already committed a tombstone. They'll finish that one off, they get rid of the ward. Ferocious here taking it himself with a Welling Blade, so an extra 100 free gold. This top lane, as I said, going quite well for New Beginning. Bottom lane, it is what it is. As it is. I mean, Gabby's getting whatever he wants. Thinking in terms of CS, but Tidehunter not a slouch either. 26 among under his belt, level 7 himself. Just a straight up farming lane. No one really able to zone out the other. Middle lane though is also another story. Game's coming back into it now, and with the double Brave Band, you can turn one into the Aquila and the other one into the Hurricane Pike eventually, so it's very efficient. Helping him out, just keeping up in terms of CS as much as he can. But this is a lane where it's really coming down to how much you can dodge out these Mystic Snares. Now Yamate should have able to TP out. Ultimate not channeled up in time. Instead they're gonna go for it on Ling as he makes rotation in, but so does NJ with the Ravage. No follow-up though, meanwhile at the back. That's Gabby going ham onto the Disruptor. He will give his own life for it though. All of a sudden, whole bunch of heroes showing up in mid. Ravage, kinda wasted here. 2-for-1 trade, but it is Gabby going down, so useful here as far as Slaughter is concerned anyway. That was something to queue it up. Everything that's happening though, RR, not too far off. I mean, he has 2 deaths, but at least the CS still alright. Looking at net worth though, not so much. Good snipers shining though, still with that extra kill in particular. And now, 2 minutes in. The beginning. We find RR here. Tombstone's committed. They have the vision. Limbs coming through inside the kinetic field into a crush. Yeah, it should be that tiny. He is tanky, but not tanky enough. Fame that TP out. So it's a lot to commit with that Tombstone. It's a really long cooldown. But with NJ being as unkillable as he is at this point, it's almost like a Timbersaw in that sense. They'll be able to eventually bring down the Steel Tower. It's gonna take them a while, don't have the catapult. It's gonna go down eventually. The question is, what is the trade-off on the other lanes? Yamate is still sticking around mid, he's stacking himself up some ancients because the supports won't do it. As I say that though, one of them did it in mid. And bottom lane's being chipped away at as well, but it's only starting now, so Execration a little bit slow on the uptake there. Liquid Fire is good, but it's not all that slow at level 2. Very long cooldown indeed. But now with the catapult wave coming through, they will be able to trade that unless there's some sort of rotation from the beginning. They have their own catapults, so that'll help finally finish off this tower. Been working away at that for a solid 2 minutes now almost. At least it feels like it.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But yeah. They're gonna make a straight 1-for-1 trade out of it. Not sure who that favors here. I'm saying anything that Execration can do to delay the game and trade evenly is gonna be fine. Up until the point where it gets to high ground, obviously, because you don't want to give that up. Okay. Basically, you just need to hold on. Don't die. Or die as little as you can. Just get big on Tiny, get big on Gabby, get big on Sniper. You have the Bloodlust to help you out as well. You should have the late game, even against Medusa. There are ways to play around that. Although they're taking some camps of their own here, even committing the access, the Macropie, but Tidehunter? Oh, potential Ravage here. Restless team smoked up behind, walking closer. And turning around onto NJ. I'm not sure about this one. Ravage still holding on to it. There it is now. Catches 3. Oh, 2. Sniper getting out of range. Gonna get that one kill, ready potato, trying to TP out, but now the blow up onto Link. 1-4 trades so far, Ferociously gets the amplified damage of exchange, is continuing to plink away with the Mask and Mandus and the Bloodlust. NJ is actually dead afterwards, is he? Oh, I spoke too soon. The stick charges just barely enough to put him over the edge. That assassinate. Yeah, he's still sticking around. He puts up in glimpse, off cooldown now. Still not quite in range. Ugh. Unfortunate. If I would have had enough damage with the corrosive haze as well as the crush, maybe. Static storm, yeah, that would have done the trick. That's unfortunate. Sniper actually already quite ridiculously quite a ridiculous amount of damage here with the Bloodlust as well as Mask Man. He's sitting so fast. Just imagine how much of a nuisance that'll be once he actually gets some items. And once he maxes out that headshot on top of that as well. New beginning there. The onus is on them to try and make something more happen, but at this point they require the blink tag from Feroz. He almost has it. And the virtue of having him as a one position. So have that farm priority, you're gonna get that money. Problem is that Undying, he's been picked up a couple of times. He's been picking up people himself. We'll work together with Ifyu now to try and bring down this Raging Potato, drop the Static Storm as well. So to bring him down eventually here. Just say that though, he's pretty damn tanky, gets another set of spells of Ifyu, keeping back, but he's gonna tick out to the damage before that, is he? Yeah. That is unfortunate, but that's the power of the Jakiro if he get the levels. Next Liquid Fire, 3 points of Dual Breath. Really, really good damage output at this point in the game. Now Execration. That exchange also looking to try and push down top. Yamate is there already defending it, and he does have some help. Link coming through, and the Blink Crush onto 2 even. Max range really gets a stun off, but well, not really doing too much. I'm going for Rocha's CF a little bit, but now, well, 5 damage. James taking over. Gabby also coming in, trying the front line here. Yamate, he only used the Stone Gears. Now it's just going to be right-clicked away, and now the Sonic Wave to finish the job. Gabby in her kill experience looking for more. Link down to half health already. Not a whole lot of damage stolen, and a couple of right-clicks and nukes. Link even to dodge the decay. Double kill for the Queen of Pain. What I was worried about, Execration. I'm going to find these ways, these turnaround kills on the back of the Queen of Pain in particular. The NJ wasn't there for the Ravage this time. There's a Blinker queued up as well. I mean, sometimes you start this, these heroes going for the mechanism instead, but in this game you need to be able to just try and leverage these abilities as effectively as you can.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So far they've only taken another one tier 1 tower. Because they want to bring down buildings, can only do it with catapult waves. This one, deep creep still in mid. NJ just maybe baiting things out a little bit. Ferocious sliding forward slow with a crush. Onto Jakiro. I'm expecting the Static Storm here. What? Somehow he got forced himself out. Alright, that explains that. Gabby. Is it? Perfect glimpse available, actually. She already used it all, yeah. Gabby should be able to survive here despite the corrosive phase. And that's Ferocious here. Yeah, I don't know. But wouldn't have been able to get in range, so they only got that one kill. And the Static Storm, the Tombstone, the Ravage. So that's gonna be enough. They should be able to finish off the tower, but I don't know. Say that though, James comes through, lacing down a couple of shrapnels and says, no, they're not getting this one either. Okay. Ferocious here is slithering away. Quite an excellent sprint if he doesn't have that extra movement speed and stuff with it, but not quite enough damage regardless. Was pretty damn close. Now the glimpse back though onto Lumic, no follow-up. New beginning, they starting to run into the limits of the draft already, which is not a good sign. Execration. Look at this, James is plinking away. Quack, quack, quack indeed, and he really wants to get this kill. Extra shrapnel, and the assassination despite that extra extra help on the hood, but turn on play. Yamate coming in, gets himself a double kill with that stone gaze, and that's just what you're asking for, right? If you dive in like that on a tier 1 tower. Would have hyped that up, but that's just foregone conclusion almost. Okay, this is a big though. Turn around kill immediately. Gabby? Almost dying there though to the urn as well as the right clicks from Yamate. Imagine bringing him and Ling down. This Undying, it's not really working out. 3, 5, and 9. 5 devs, really not something that's supposed to happen at this point. Just all this magical burst that Execration have to offer. Especially Gabby. I mean, he's 5-1 and 2 himself, high kill participation. For that particular hero, but well, again, I'm of the opinion that Execration should have it in late game, but it is still a Medusa, and it's Medusa that's farming quite well, so it's a bit of a wild card at the best of times. This though, double damage wound scattered out. Freshly spawned Gabby can pick that up for himself for the bottle. Better on him even than on the sniper because you have the better base damage at this point. DD, Veil. There's a Ravage available for MJ, but also there's also ways to play around that. Like he can't blink in or anything, so he just has to walk. If he walks in, he's just gonna get blinked away by sniper time and time again if they're ready to receive him essentially. From Melts from Battle looks over to you. And did it completed? It's not Korea? No, not quite. That needs that recipe, but he's about to finish that one off too. Meanwhile, if you... I think he's just hiding and don't think he's setting up for a defense play here. The rest of the team scattered across the map. Just try and farm up the next round of items. What that's gonna be. I mean, the Blink Dagger, the obvious one of the MJ, but it's still very far away from that. Lada, what are you gonna do? He's going back from Midas. And, I don't know. Not the best sign. Kind of selling themselves up for a very hard game, essentially. If you actually reveal himself this game's back on Lumic, he will die himself to the rest of Execration. Eventually. There it is. Takes some down, so it's a straight up 1-4 on trade as Lumic walks back into it. But it gives the kill over to Ifyu as well. Still, I want to say it's a favorite Execration. Right clicks, Orchid being shown up by Gabby. DD room finally being triggered, and then double 3. Yamate can only TP out. Game's also gonna get bigger and bigger. I mean,
Radiant's middle tower is under
farm
attack.
just as fast as Medusa is at this point with that Maelstrom, isn't he?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They turning around for the 4-staff instead of the Blink. That's where we're at right now. 4-staff Tidehunter trying to help you out, trying to get closer
Invisibility.
with the easier build-up. Now the Invis, double damage is still going only for a couple of seconds, but York alone might just be enough. Maybe not for Yamate. We'll find out. He's trying to go for it. That's the ultimate to work with, but Link comes through, turns around. Gabby, just barely getting a blink out away from the crush. Keeping Yamate honest, you know, it's testing his resolve essentially. Yeah, he's still feeling confident enough to 1v1 at this stage of the game. As is going, but I've lost at tier 2. Bottom lane is also being pushed in RR. He has a blink of zone, plus the treads, plus the drums. So quite tanky and very dangerous individual right now. Almost level 15. Get the extra damage perhaps from the avalanche. Actually huge, plus 125. Quite a lot to burst, but now, well, Gabby, this time the crush will connect. He blinked into this. Coming back off cooldown in the second, so prevents him from doing that. So that is a really good catch. Good pain, not quite itemized to counter that out yet. Now another glimpse here into crush. That's a sniper too. Yeah. And a high ground vision, helping him out tremendously there. That ward about to expire too, so not even giving away too much information about that glimpse. catching him. So now the two most important heroes are, well, I could argue that Tiny is just as important as
Dire's middle tower
the other
is
two.
under attack.
Two very important heroes now, and it's not just only a lot of gold for New Beginning, but finally some space to build momentum here. They're gonna find themselves a Roshan. Gonna fight damage, they're gonna even look for more kills. Raging Potato. He's gonna go down, start to throw out some spells, but there's nothing you can do on Jakiro at this point. You can only use the 4 staff. And eventually he'll be dropping down. More money for Ferocious here, going back for the 3KB next. And it's gonna be significant.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Counter out the tiny bursts. Unless the initiates on you with Idle Blink or the Force. Not the Force Staff, the Shadow Blade at this point. So, classic tiny build at this point. You know, time and time again with that maximum ability. Now into the Sarge and Yasha. Not sure about this one. I feel like Halberd or something else would be a better decision. After AC, something classic. Independence of Shiva's got queued up after the BKB, so could be the AC carrier. We'll see, maybe he changes his mind.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, that's Yamate showing himself. Let's have the Aegis now, so could go on him, could try and trigger it, but that takes you too long, then there's TP's in through the shrine as well as the
Radiant's
tower.
middle
It's
tower is under attack.
gonna need everyone here, but they're bringing everybody. They'll try and pressure the tower if they can, so putting the onus once again on NB to react to that, and they are doing that. Smoked up. Don't wrap around all the way, but for now Yamate is he's alone. 4 stuff away, out of the Macropie, so that works. They're gonna trigger the Aegis, and the Blink Crush will still connect on Zulu here. Tombstone on top of Static Storm, both the supports will end up falling. Yeah, the Bash is there to cancel TP just in case, and get the Glimpse back on the Tiny as well. Doesn't have a Shadow Blade in a second though. They didn't get the amplified damage off on him. Trying to go for the Blind Crush. It's coming out though. Aegis for 2 supports, better than nothing. They also keep the tower alive. But so don't expect too many big cooldowns. I mean, Tombstone 70 seconds, I guess it's almost like an ultimate. By Mrs. Static Storm.
Dire's bottom tower is
I still
under
have the
attack.
Ravage, and that big threat is there together with the Stone Gaze. That extra insurance policy for Yamate, but he didn't get it off in the last fight. Not that he maybe. Yeah, he could have gotten it off. He just didn't want to before the
Dire's
Aegis.
bottom tower has fallen.
Alright, Big
Radiant's
Crush.
middle tower is under
That. I was trading for Ifyu here, funnily enough. Okay, what is this? That's a big toss. Gabby. And working together, forcing out the Stone Gates already onto Yamate. Blink Crush. The Ravage also being used. He finds both of them in the end. Definitely securing that kill onto one cost. Gabby going back in here. Wants to find some revenge, but 3 heroes. Yamate is still very tanky. And Lara not so much though. They do bring it down in the end. Gabby with the blink across. Jakiro kind of missing spells with another Forcer from Medusa, but well, Dual Breath still on top of him. He's sticking out. No more mana to work with. Gabby continues to right click away, but with Gross of his on top of him, he has to be very careful. It's just getting right click down. Triple kill as he forced to just blink across to the wrong side of town. Yamate, I believe he just finished up the Scotty too, so it's like, okay. Can't actually walk away from him now. Nice. And these are the kind of things that Execration really can't afford, because that, again, that does give New Beginning this momentum that they're looking for. Ravage is secure to Tiny, Gabby overcommitting. All that after they already got the kill on James elsewhere on the map. We slowed down his progression quite a bit here. Go for the Dragon Lance. What? Alright, yeah. Very quick kill, one would imagine. Shadow Blade, Blink, Avatar's combo.
A soldier's fortune.
Gabby, 500 gold away or so from the slaughter. Yeah, I guess 600. 500, 600, something like that. Ghost Scepter undying actually, it's interesting. He's trying to keep himself alive by whatever means necessary. Gonna need to commit some magical bursts to bring him down, but they have that, right? I mean, Goes up at the wrong time, he gets assassinated. It's really going to be helpful. It's one of these games where it's impossible to find that. That's the issue, right? If Undying doesn't stay alive in these fights, then he cannot amplify damage with the Flash Golem, he cannot continue to decay and Soul Rip and be a nuisance. Protect the Tombstone and... Nope. But at level 15, so Tombstone and Death is a possibility. We'll see though. Shadowblading forward, they do have a sentry. What's going on? Ready Potatoes. Smoke will break 2. Being in a good position. Nothing will happen there. And not up for a long time. Execration, I have to abandon this attempt. But they abandoned it very quickly, now they're already farming while New Beginning, they're still not quite sure about what's going on. They're sitting a little bit behind Yamate. Very least get that slight advantage.
Regeneration.
Right, Hunter. Debate here, the rest of the team smoking up and now making the beeline form. They might find Lumic here. He's gonna tank the gank if you will, but James ultimately goes down and back. Gets glimpsed back here, they split the focus quite nicely, and now the Ravage also gets his Gabby in the side, will secure the kill on the Snap, and now the Static Storm to Pash on the Queen of Pain. Oh no. Ferocious, yeah, hitting that bash button at the right time. Popping BKB just to make sure. Now Yamate, he's on the bottom though. Again, 4 stuff out of the Ice Path Macropire combo. He'll be absolutely fine, even has the Stone Gates to work with, but just right-clicking down Jakira, crazy amount of damage here with the Corrosive Haste on top. Ferocious, he comes in, and all of a sudden, 4 heroes are down from Execration. Just get rumbled.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now, middle lane, that tower will go down. They can go high ground here, they can force out buybacks, or at least that's what they're thinking right now. And they'll be very delighted to realize, hey, they are not available. Exactly what the strategy is meant to do. I mean, when a team fight take buildings, it's not going down terribly fast. But, a quick pause coming through. Not going down terribly fast, but with 3 heroes down, Execration have a real way of fighting this. They could go in on Tiny. Could maybe blink in and try and Shadow Blade out or something. Try and burst down one of these heroes, but it's more likely that he just give up his life then. Another glimpse back into a crash, alright.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
They're not safe. James is back from that though and needs the damage output that they need. Ling, very low and no, coming through. Bit of control on Yamate, but still has Stone Gaze, not a BKB to work with. And pretty damn strong against the Avatars, Akiro. No sniper with the mouse from to some degree. Gabby. Ooh. Be careful where you blink. They know though, they have plenty of vision in this area, so... No, he knows he's being gone on. Gets blink out to the side, only Yamate here. Alright. Gabby able to extricate himself out of that.
invisibility.
But it looks like NB wants Ravage back up. 30 seconds. This is the timing for Execration to fight. NB know it too. They want to play it safe. Wait for that to come with cooldown. If you, well, he's the only one that's just scouting out, breaking smokes, tanking the ganks. Doing sacrificial support things, but it's absolutely fine. Execration, they knew that they had to fight here. They need to take matters into their own hands if they were to win this game. They're getting bigger on the course, right? I mean, if you look at network distribution, it's not all that bad. Gabby, James, RR, all sitting here in that 12 to 14k net worth mark. NJ, at this kill though, that's would be pretty big as well. It doesn't actually have teammates next to him.
Top shrine is under attack.
Way towards bottom,
Radiant's
but
bottom tower
die.
is under attack.
He would
Radiant's
be
structures
insane
are
if he went for the
fortified.
tower. Oh, the courier.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Rest in pepperonis.
Dire's top line
Give
has
up the tier
fallen.
2 bottom. Yamate working away at top at the same time though. So with double catapult, fairly easy. And if they let him, he can continue. I think it's being brought down. He did go for the tombstone on death. That's not being farmed up though. Interestingly enough. 203 gold. Take care of that. Execution, grab a couple of kills.
Dire's top tower is under
Give him
attack.
supports. And Jay has a Ravage back up. So
Worthy trip.
NB. Oh god, they get the glimpse here into static summary phase just to make absolutely sure. Yamate is in the middle of that too, gets the unstoppable spring. 3.7k gold in his inventory too, so I don't know what he wants to go for next, whether it's some sort of Vanta style or whether he just wants to go more damage. Hasn't really decided yet, or at least he hasn't put anything in this quick buy. Wouldn't be too surprised if it's just some sort of hybrid item like Butterfly. Like there's a lot of value in it this game. At the same time, well, you have the headshot, it's like 40% that
Dire's
cannot
bottom
miss.
tower is under attack.
does have the potential for Queen of Pain to go into Bloodthorn. That you have the BKB to cancel that out.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I
attack.
don't know.
Dire's
But
bottom
it is going to be the
tower has
Butterfly.
fallen.
Overall, it's still a good item right now to help them win the
Radiant's
game
middle
because
tower is
Yamate,
under
he's
attack.
exceptionally big.
Radiant
22.5k
are
net worth to the 14.6 on the sniper at this point. So he's already super tanky. He's not really going to die in these fights, especially not with the rest of his team is close by. So all he needs to do is damage. This is scouting for the slow, and Butterfly is not just doing extra damage. It's really good DPS for agility heroes. Or also even adds some tankiness even more up against the sniper in particular. And ferocious, yeah. Okay, gone on here. Execration, not off the Shadow Blade, and cannot get the BKB off. That's a free pick. Abandon this Roche attempt because of it. Grouping is 4. Can still take a fight if they're forced to. But on Execration want to take their chance. Not quite all there together just yet. The Snap is already going for the MKB. It's one of these heroes where you can make the argument that he's not benefiting from the MKB as much as he would have from the old one with the extra damage. Some heroes like WG, for example, that extra attack speed is really, really good because you get more steal and stuff like that. For Sniper, you can make the argument, well, more attack speed works with Hashshot, but he already has a lot of attack speed regardless here with the Maelstrom, as well as the Mask of Madness and the Bloodlust in this game too. How much extra is that really going to be? No, new beginning, just taking it a little bit slow. Defend the tower if they can. Linkdo, look at this damage coming through, but he still gets a tombstone off. The fight breaks out. Ferocious here come back and fray in a moment. Yamate pops the BKB. They've already lost Link, but they brought down the sniper. Another toss forward. Amplified damage. RR will fall. Cannot extricate himself out of that situation. Now BKB used from Ferocious here. They get the glimpse back just as Gabby's BKB ends. They crush him up. They bring him down. This time it's not just the supports going down. All 3 cores on the sidelines. No buyback in the RR. Sniper and Co-op have it. Beginning. To be able to bring down this Roshan fairly quickly. Amplify damage. Look at this output. Holy hell. Now, Aegis enhanced Medusa. Cheese for the slaughter. They make the argument that it would be also pretty good the other way around, but maybe Slaughter's just holding on to it. Just in case, and once the agency expires, might as well give it over to Yamate. For now, though, have some more things in mind. Might even be able to force out a buyback on the Queen of Pain. With the Execration, yeah, they're gonna have to give up this building one way or another. Ravage wasn't even used in the last fight. NJ still has that threat potential. Have the catapult wave, at least in the middle lane. Nothing for bottom, but that'll help secure the range racks without any further hero interference. Becoming another tier 3 tower. Expression, they do not want to buy back. James is there now. And NJ, well, do what he can tank up a little bit with Solar Crest. Walking out Yamate, force-stuffing forward actually. Once there then, hey guys, come at me bros, come at me, and there it is, RR coming through with the, on the Ravage to turn this around. On top of the Static Storm here, Ferocious here dodging that Avalanche with the BKB, make sure to continue to right click, and there it is, GG is called. James, not coming back this time, he does not have enough. An Execration fall with a 2-0. Unless that was a fake GG, in which case... they cancelled it. That's what popped already. Yeah. That was a fake GG. Alright. It was cancelled once, but Lumik doing it again. Looking a little bit like, okay. Because there's no way they died fun like that if it's, the game wasn't over. Yeah, new beginning, 2-0. That's the scoreline. They knock out Execration of the Galaxy Battles SEA qualifiers. Very good determination. Game number 1, just continuing to work away at these buildings. They were 30k behind, but they made all the right decisions in the late game. Just not an easy feat indeed. Execration. And in game number 2, well, they gave them too much momentum here and lost 1 or 2 team fights here and there. Went a little bit to ham, a few of extensions here and there, and that starts to add up. And well, talking about the Medusa being a late game hero, and late game arrived early for Yamate in this game with the amount of net worth that he's been able to secure with the help of the rest of his team. Alright, that does mean that we're gonna hop over to Group B next. The actual finals for these groups will be tomorrow, and they'll be Geek Fam versus New Beginning here in Group A. Our next game will start in about 35 minutes, and there'll be Happy Feet versus WG.UNITY in Group B. So, I'm gonna leave the bracket for Group A up for a little bit, but I'll switch to Group B so you guys can catch up on what's happened there. Now though, gonna take a short break. See you soon.
You make me wanna settle down, down. Get married and have a daughter, and live forever sweet and sound. But if I'm moving too fast for you, tell me honestly, what should I do? And if we're grooving too soon, let the playlist make the move. 'Cause I'm in a daze and you're driving me crazy. Please can you stay, even just for the night? I'm losing my way, but don't try to contain me, 'cause I'm still running out. 'Cause I'm in a daze and you're driving me crazy. Please can you stay, even just for the night? I'm losing my way, but don't try to contain me, 'cause I'm still running.